Happy Tuesday, genderqueer chat. That's right, I said Tuesday because I moved to a different day. So now I'm on Tuesday. Yeah, it feels like Tuesday. Looks like Tuesday. Must be Tuesday. This week's topic is, do you think trans and genderqueer people should be lumped into the LGBTQ acronym? Are we under that particular umbrella? Should we be, etc.? How have your interactions been with LGBTQ people? You know, is this like a good fit in practice? Have your experiences been positive or negative interacting with people who are LGBT or Q? Do you feel that these guys understand you and where you're coming from more than, say, just run-of-the-mill breeders? Well, the fact that I am one of the original LA but great collaborators, and probably at least half the people who are on LA but great now are part of the original crew, so it's not really a big, claim to fame. It's nothing dramatic, but I am definitely pro-LGBTQ. I feel like what I am is part of it. Now, I am transy, it's just a fact. I actually have secondary sex characteristics of both male and female puberty. And so I came in as part of the T part of LGBT. And so on LA Big Great, that's where I fit into the mold. But I'm also queer in other ways, like I'm bi. But how about just like trans and genderqueer, how do we really fit in with it? Because after all, gay, lesbian, and bisexual, these deal with sexual preferences, what you like to have under the hood when you... That was weird. It's like something fell over in the attic. Weird. So, since these things are about sexual attraction and mating, and genderqueer and trans are what are you doing? It's the cat. It's the cat. Okay, so obviously genderqueer and trans are not about who you want to screw, but about who and what you are and this facet of yourself, and it really has nothing to do with who you want to go to bed with. But basically I feel like it's not 100% either way. Our queerness represents a big part of who we are and what we are. And it does kind of bring us on some very practical levels, at least many of us, in line with lesbian, gay, bi people, in a variety of ways. For one thing, someone who is trans and neither asexual nor bi/pansexual is going to be somewhere in that gay straight binary at some point during the transition. I mean, if you are male-bodied and you like dudes, people are going to say, well, you're gay. Fair enough. But if you're male-bodied and you like dudes, but you really, really desperately need a vagina, well, that's not really gay, is it? That's something different. But there is a flavoring in there. There's a flavor where at some point in the process you find yourself kind of straight at this part of your life and gay or lesbian at this part of your life, vice versa. So I think on some kind of moderately practical levels, gender and sexuality do tie in during the course of an individual's life. But it's only part of the story as well. I have encountered transphobia in very literal terms in the gay community, but I've also encountered it in the straight community. Sometimes it can be a little bit more obvious in the gay community because when you're talking among gay people, there's a certain liberty in being gay. Having come out, or maybe you're not out, you go to the gay bars or something like that, you have a few gay friends, and the fact that you're not straight gives you certain options that straight people don't have. Straight people in this culture are supposed to be a little bit more reserved in many contexts and not talk about sexuality, not talk about gender, not talk about squeaky things like that. But gay people are in the list of things not to be talked about. And it's kind of liberating in your queerness to speak freely. And so some of the prejudices and phobias that you can encounter in just anyone's life might come out a little bit more frequently or a little bit more readily among the candor of queer conversation. That doesn't mean that there's a lot more bigotry or even simple prejudice in the queer community. It just means it's a little bit easier to get it out there. But the other side of that is that getting it out there makes it easier to address and make it go away. So in my experience, generally dealing with gay and lesbian people, I have found the experience to be positive. It just is. At this point in the game, here in central Mississippi at least, the queer community that I've encountered kind of embraces the trans and the genderqueer community. And even though I'm in the middle of Mississippi, there are trans people, there are genderqueer people, there are people who are both, like me. So kind of going around and around and around and around it, but I'm just very comfortable with this topic. It has come up in so many contexts with me because it's a very valid question. And there are contradictory valid answers that can be given to it based on people's experience. And I think that's what we're going to see a lot of this week. I think we're going to see a certain amount of difference. Like last week, we saw a lot of converse. This week, I think there's going to be a little bit more variety. That's my guess. But that's where I'm coming from. And if I overlooked anything, let me know in the comments below. And we will see you soon. I can get to uploading this bad boy. And thanks to Ricky for swapping with me on Thursdays. So Thursday is going to be a real treat for those of you who like Ricky and Amelia. You're going to get a double dose. Peace, and we'll see you soon.